Okay, my name is Stephen Ezaflukwe, and we're coming today from the Lower Niger Territory Radio. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please, would you please introduce yourselves?
Nosike. Oh, okay.
It's coming now.
It's coming out. Okay. My name is Augusta Nosike, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, I am Reverend Dr. Leke Akimbode. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
My name is Clifford Chukwemeka Iruanya, and I come from Aro Ndionyemobi. And Aro Ndionyemobi is in the old Olo province of the old eastern Nigeria, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sister Augusta, I don't know if you have anything to say right away before I make a comment and before handing it over to Dr. Iranya and Dr. Akimbode.
Yeah, let me just let our people know that we have Dr. Akimbode here to discuss the issues that are ravaging Nigeria right now, as we talk about the NINAS project, and also as we talk about the elections that people are running helter-skelter to be part of. And we're telling people to hold off on that. Let us get the constitution out first. After that we can do that there should be a transition where indigenous nationalities or ethnic groups would go ahead and think of whether they want to remain in the union or not. But we have our guest that want to speak about One Nigeria, and we are glad to have him. We want him to tell us how he feels that Nigeria will move forward with these elections. So thank you, Dr. Akibode, for being here, and thank you, Dr. Clifford Iraya, for also being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. In the book of 1 Kings 11, verses 31 to 35, we have a record of the split of the nation of Israel, as it used to be known, around 975 BC Common Era. What led to that split in the kingdom was the evil that was being committed by Solomon about the time he was on the throne. And this led to the split of the kingdom. A servant of his, one of his men, had to become the leader of the splitting part while his son took over the other part of the split. That's exactly where we are today. We found ourselves in a situation where almost every section of Nigeria, especially down south and middle belt, are fed up with what's supposed to be a dream country to the black race. And today, the level of insecurity in the country has actually encouraged the demand for a multi-regional referendum to help us sort out the lingering issues of Nigeria's challenged existence and to restore sanity between the nations that gave life to Nigeria. And it is to this end that we gather here today to deliberate on this and to look at the two sides. And in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 34, it says that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people without any discriminations. It affects everyone. With the current constitution of Nigeria, the current 1999 constitution, and the attitude of those that are leading us, we can all tell ourselves the bitter truth that things has fallen apart for the country, and the center could no longer hold. Where do we go from here? Dr. Irania.
Thank you very much. I watched the Reverend Dr. Kimbo kind of smiling when you were giving the history of the split of the kingdom, which happened under the son of Solomon, not actually under Solomon.
Yeah.
But I mean, the lesson or the main message is there. But anyway, back to what you talked about, Brother Stephen. I think we have to look at this whole issue holistically. We have to look at it from the foundation. It has to be foundationally explored. And I would want anyone who watched today's program to, be grounded in the whole process of what exactly are the issues here and what are the strategies, the mechanisms to which to solve the problem, which are the options, and how are we going to do that? You see, the fact which nobody can doubt is that a country is established and run through what is called a union agreement.
Yeah.
Another name for that union agreement is called constitution. It is the constitution that defines the country. It is also the constitution that defines the structure of the country. 3, it is the constitution that defines the governance or the governing system or the governance system of that country. And that is why the constitution is very central, very important. And one lesson, one thing everybody watching this program must take home with, everybody, including all of us here on this platform, one lesson or one thing we must all go home with is that a constitution is the only document, I repeat, the only document that is made by the people, not by elected officials. Let me repeat that. I want that to sink very well, because that is going to, in most part, drive our discussion today. A constitution is the document, the only document that is made by we, the people, the citizens. It is not a document that is made by elected representatives. As a matter of fact, the whole thing starts with the making of the Constitution. It is after the Constitution is made that the political system is now brought up. It is the Constitution that precipitates the political system. It precipitates the governance system, and it precipitates every other thing. Because some people talk about National Assembly, governor. It is, you have to have the Constitution in place first, just like the fraudulent 1999 Constitution in Section 48. As a matter of fact, Section 47, it starts with Section 47, that says that there shall be a National Assembly. Then 48 and 49 went ahead to define what those National Assembly means and the number, the composition, that's how many they will be. 48 talks about 3 senators per state. 49 talked about 360 members of House of Rep. In the meantime, the Constitution in Section 3 has already listed the number of states. So when you now go to 48, it tells you 3 senators per state and 1 for Federal Capital Territory. You can now calculate and know how many senators Nigeria will have under that fraudulent 1999 Constitution. So what am I trying to say here? We have to look at this thing very, very fundamentally. First of all, there's something that gives a country its identity. That thing is a union agreement. And that thing is the only thing that is done by the citizens. And that same thing is what gives birth to every other thing. So where am I going with this? If you don't get that thing right from ab initio, from the beginning, every other thing you are doing go awry or go south, as we put it, as we say it in the United States. I would like to stop here for the time being, and then we can begin to explore this more. But it's good to set this precedent, this basic, this foundational principle for our discussion today. So we, from there begin to advance our various arguments or points. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Iranya. Dr. Leke Akimbode, sorry if I mispronounce your name. I intend to do it right.
No, that is 99% close, so I would take that.
Beautiful. So would you like to delve into what? Yes,
I like to, and thank you for bringing me here again. I actually miscalculated the time when the introduction. I mean, when the invitation was sent to me, I saw 7 p.m. I thought it is 7 p.m. United States time because I live in US, so I didn't know that it's 7 p.m. Nigerian time. So I got to realize that it's 7 p.m. Nigeria time about 15 minutes before the program started. So I had to rush myself wherever I was. So no problem, it's fine. So, and just to do a kind of a proper introduction, I'm from Ondo State, Nigeria, and my village is where the massacre was carried out in the Roman Catholic Church not too long ago. So that day, I actually, because one of my brothers attends Roman Catholic Church, so when the news broke, I had to call him to find out if he was in church. Of course, he was in church, but that was not the local church. Another Roman Catholic church in that town was his local church. So if the terrorists or the bandits or Boko Haram, whoever, if they have gone to the other local church of my brother, maybe I will have been one of the, my family will have been one of the victims of the incident. So I want to thank you for putting up this, and I also want to agree. One thing I like, I'm a Reverend, I'm a Methodist priest, so I like the introduction that we are all coming from the Bible. That will make it more comfortable for me. I can do a lot of exegesis here, and I hope Dr. I'm trying to pronounce your name, sir. Dr. Clifford, right? Dr. Clifford, you will pardon me if I begin to quote a lot of Bible. Maybe I will actually, after this time, recommend you to seminary and become a priest like me. All right, so I agree. The Bible says in Psalm 11 verse 3 that if the foundation is being destroyed, what can the righteous do? So the foundation of everything is very, very important. If the height of a building will be determined by the foundation of that building. Yes. If you want to put a 2 or 3 story building up, the foundation will be different from if you are putting a 13-story building up.
Correct.
So the foundation of everything is very, very important. I agree with almost everything that Dr. Clifford said. The current Nigeria that is not on the right track. I mean, was not built on the right foundation. That is where the problem is coming from. The so-called 1999 Constitution, I also want to borrow the words of Dr. Clifford, is a fraudulent document, fraud of the highest order. And the reason why I am not too much particular about that Constitution is because, as Doctor said, that Constitution was not written by Nigerians. That Constitution was written by a set of uniformed men, military people, when they were pressurized to hand over the government to the civilians. What did they do? They just come up with that document and call it 1999 Constitution. That was not a constitution that Nigerians, the citizens of Nigeria, built themselves. And that is where we are in Nigeria today. I do tell people, if you bring the most honest individual, the most capable leader in the world, bring them to Nigeria. They cannot function under the current system in Nigeria.
Yep.
How do you want to fight corruption in the current system in Nigeria when the constitution says that each senator can get millions of unaccountable naira for constituency projects? And these people will get money for constituency projects. The same thing they got money for, they will go and tell the federal government to come and do the same thing in their constituency. So how do we cannot currently function? How do we begin to talk about equity in Nigeria when we have 19 northern states, 17 southern states, and we have 3 different senators from each state? So by the virtue of the constitutional provision, the North will always be more than the South in those places that major decisions will be taken. So by this 1999 Constitution, Nigeria is at the great disadvantage already. So that is why I agree. A constitution has to be a contract, not have to be a contract, an agreement, not something that some people will just force on us. I live in the United States, and if you look at the Constitution of the United States, the first word that we see, we the people. We the people came together and agree that this is how we want to govern ourselves. This is the percentage of money that will be going to the federal level. This is the percentage of share revenue that will be going to state level, county level. So we, the people in America, they came together, they agree, they formed a contract. And look at their country today, it's more than 250 years. And look at how the powerful constitution has been able to sustain the country. Nigeria, we are just 20-something years of First Republic. Nigeria is not sustainable at the moment. So what I'm trying to say is that the current structure we have in Nigeria as a government, Nigerians as citizens, Nigeria as a country and Nigerians as citizens, it would be very, very difficult for this Nigeria to work under this current system. So I align myself with Dr. Clifford. We will need a new constitution. How we are going to get about new constitution could be subject of disagreement tonight, but everybody in Nigeria knows that we will need a new Nigeria. And the only thing that can give us a new Nigeria is a new document, and which I call new constitution. And in that constitution, we are always talking about restructuring in Nigeria. When we are now coming together to write the new constitution, then we can now begin to inject everything, how we want Nigeria to work, how everything we want in Nigeria, we can now begin to inject them in that document, the new constitution. So I agree that when a foundation is being destroyed, there is nothing the righteous can do. The righteous will just be washing and will be helpless. And that is the state that we are in Nigeria. Do you know that Nigeria, I'm a reverend, I have data, Nigeria is the most religious country in the world. Nigeria is the most prayerful country in the world. So Nigeria is the only country, is the country that you find the most churches in the world. You I have never been to other part of Nigeria, but come to the southwest where I am from. When I was in UI, University of Badon, there was a church. There was a building in Agbo when you are going to UI. The building is 2-story building. Then you have Redeemed Church at the 4th floor. Then you have another church at the ground floor. And they are big, powerful, mega speaker. So when Redeemed Church is preaching, the other church is singing praise and worship, disturbing Redeemed Church. And when the Redeemed Church notice that the other church is quiet, maybe they are praying, the Redeemed Church will start praise and worship, disturbing them. For you to know how polarized churches are in Nigeria, But yes, Nigeria is not working. So this is not by, we have prayed, every church is my doctrine. When I put on my regalia on Sunday to do service, my doctrine compels me to pray for the country Nigeria or the country America every single Sunday. So, and you can see that everybody we are praying for Nigeria, but it's as if our prayer is not working, because Jesus said, wash and pray. There is a time for you to pray. There's time for you to wash. So this is the time for us to wash and come together and deliberate on how to move Nigeria forward and come with a new document that will move Nigeria forward. I rest my case at this time.
I have some questions to ask you, Dr. Leke, but I will let Augusta take the stage right now.
Okay.
Dr. Leke, first of all, hey, greatest you right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we.
Oh, you are off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sorry. With your explanation, you definitely agree that the 1999 Constitution is a fraud, right?
Of the highest order.
Of the highest order, so like 100% fraud.
101% fraud.
Okay, you even have higher marks than I do. So, and the thought of, swearing onto that Constitution, doing everything that that Constitution says, is what Ninas is talking about.
Yeah.
And since you agree, you're also talking about writing a new Constitution.
Yes.
But as you rightly said, you've not told us who would write that new Constitution. So
that's a very good thing.
Can you just give us an explanation? Because guess what? Remember that in the National Assembly, you saw how they are divided. In the North, they have about 19 states, right?
Yes.
And in the South, when you say South, the Southwest, Southeast, South put together, total of us are like 17 states. So no matter what we do, they will always have upper hand against us. No, so now tell me, how do you think that new Constitution would be written? Please.
Yes. Thank you, Sister Hagenla, right? Am I right?
Augusta.
Dr. Augusta.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Augusta, yes. I will not forget again. Sister Augusta, yeah. Yes. That's a very good question. That's a very tricky one as well. The alternative, I will speak about your question, but when I look at the alternative is for us to just go on a different way. And so, to your question, how do we come together? I want to be very honest here. I don't think it is something that we'll be able to achieve easily. There may be a revolution for us to get there, and Nigeria will not be the first to experience that. You see what is going on in Sri Lanka, or what's the name of that country now?
Sri Lanka.
And Sri Lanka. And you know that even in United States, there was one history of a revolution, reformation, whatever. And so, and when you look at countries in Europe, you see that there have been histories of revolution when citizens are trying to make their countries work. So I agree. That's why I'm having that is like Nigeria. We are in a bubble. We want something new. And we are currently in the net of 1999 Constitution that will not give us the opportunity to go to where we want to go to. So, and that is why the renowned Yoruba lawyer, Afe Balolola, you see what he said that day, that there should be no election in 2023, that a 6-month interim government should be formed. And I agree with him. But the problem is that there is no mechanism, there is no provision in our constitution to achieve that. And the implication of that will be Buhari will continue beyond his time, and maybe military may take over. So those alternatives are not where we want to go to. So where am I going to? You see, in 2014, President Jonathan got the opportunity to set Nigeria on the right path. How he missed that opportunity, I cannot even imagine. When he called national conference and he called people across all the 36 states in Nigeria, and they came, they formed a document that is very close to where we want to go to. The document is not a final was not a final destination, but the document will have set Nigeria on the path to our final destination. And President Jonathan had the opportunity and then PDP was even having majority in both National Assembly houses. President Jonathan had the opportunity to sign that into law. That will have been first step of restructuring and first step of getting us a new constitution that we desire. Now, from 2014, the conversation will have been, between 2014 and now, we will have seen the deficiencies in that document. And the conversation now will have been how to improve the document. Why we are still at the very first stage now, we need new document. That conference gave us new document. In fact, the conference was so comprehensive. I have their report on my computer here. They talk about every area. They even talk about how INEC chairman should be chosen, that the president should not be single-handedly choosing INEC chairman again. They talk about judicial. They touch every aspect of our nation. They talk about revenue sharing. They talk about they go beyond the federal government to stylishly establish regional government. So if President Jonathan, for example, had succeeded in passing that to law, the conversation that myself and all of us will be having today will have been how to improve. We will have set our country on that path. Will have been how to go forward. But right now, we are still talking about at the very elementary level. So to answer your question very directly, Sister Augusta, I think that we will need another national conference. And I pray that you don't ask me how this national conference will be conveyed. But I think that is where to begin from. Because when I look at the alternative to not having a national conference, or the alternative route to Nigeria having a new constitution, the alternatives are maybe let everybody go. Yoruba nation, Oduduwa nation, Arewa nation, Igbokwenu. So let everybody go. That's one of the alternatives that we have. And I fear for Nigeria, I fear that what is happening in Koreans now, North Korea, South Korea, I fear that's how we'll end up. You see what happened, if you see where my village is is the remote southwest. So Ibadan to Owo is about 4 hours drive. So Owo is the remote southwest. If terrorists can get into Owo, it means that terrorists are everywhere in Nigeria. When our prelate in Nigeria, Prelate Ushe Kalu, was kidnapped few months ago, he was kidnapped around a village in between Imo and Enugu, the boundary between Imo and Enugu. That was where he was kidnapped. And he was taken to that forest. When I called that old man, he told me that the people that kidnapped him, they are Fulani, living like a king in the forest in Southeast. That's how they have in Yoruba land, in Southwest. That's how they have in South. So if we say we want to go now, let everybody go, it will be difficult for the South, both South, Southwest, or Southeast. It will be so difficult for us to manage our security. And by the time, it's going to take like 5, 6, 7, maybe 9, 10 years before we put our security structure on ground. And by that time, these people might have eaten us well. That's the result we have in the Korea now. Because when you look at what is happening now, by order of coincidence or by order of deliberate order, South, the old South, we are not at the advantage side when it comes to military. All the military zones are in the north. They are in Kaduna, they are in Kano, they are in everywhere. The former president embassy, whatever, Donda Barrack that used to be in Lagos, Donda Barrack has been reduced to nothing. When you go there, you will not even believe that this was once a presidential lodge. So by order of design by these military people who are not, and they've always been military president anyway, They do not put anything in the south. And if we say we want to go our separate way now, these northern people, I'm sorry to say, I'm not talking from the point of, I'm not being prejudiced now. I just want to say the truth. The northern people will collaborate with these terrorists. They are pretending as if they don't know them. Now they know them. They will collaborate with the terrorists. They will make sure that they want to destabilize the whole South. And I don't think that we are there now. So, again, I say we need a revolution. We need a national conference. That's where the discussion will begin from. I raise my case now.
Thank you, Dr. Leke. Dr. Iranya, based on what Dr. Leke has said so far, would you like to say something?
Yes, I would like to say something. First of all, I commend him for his frankness. I commend him for his honesty. I also agree with him on Psalm 11, verse 3, that he quoted. And it's true what he said about Nigeria being a very highly religious people. I also want to draw his attention to Psalm 15, verses 1 and 2, where David asked the question. He says, "Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill?" And my emphasis is now on the second verse of Psalm 15.
Those who walk regularly.
He who walk uprightly.
Yeah.
And then there's the last part that I really want to bring out. He says, he who speaketh the truth from his heart, not the mouth, from his heart.
Yeah.
You see? So with that, one begin to understand why we are so religious and then nothing is happening. We need to speak the truth from our hearts. Secondly, I will also, sorry, we're not trying to turn this into a religious something, but if you look at James chapter 2,
we are so religious.
James chapter 2, verse 17.
Yeah.
Yes, the Bible made me to understand, or made us to understand, that faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Faith without works is dead. So we can be as religious as we want, as we like, but if we don't do what we're supposed to do, nothing is going to change. So let me leave it at that. Let me go to the key point. Dr. Akimbode talked about, I think he anchored most of his point on what happened in 2014. Let me start by saying that the 2014 program is very much like where Dr. Akimbode started, which is Psalm 11, verse 3. What they had in 2014 was national conference. That was not supposed to be. What they're supposed to have is what is called a sovereign national conference. Let me repeat that. Sovereign national conference with constituent powers.
Yeah.
Constituent powers, for the layman, for those who do not really understand that, if you have a body with a constituent power, it means a body that has power above the Constitution. That's what it means. So there's supposed to be a sovereign national conference with constituent powers. Why do I say so? I'm saying so because of two things. Number one is that immediately that body was constituted, and I'm sure that Dr. Akimbode will agree with me on this. Immediately it was constituted, they had what is called no-go areas. I need you to go to the record, check the record.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes, the National Conference of 2014 had no go. If it had been a sovereign national conference with constituent powers, they wouldn't have had no go area.
I agree with you.
That's number one. Number two is that Section 1, subsection 2, Section 2, that's Section 1, subsection 2 of this Constitution, Section 2, subsection 1 of this Constitution, and Section 315 of this Constitution, including Section 4, subsection 2, and Section 4, subsection 5, all ties the hand of anybody that want to do anything about the structure of this country, about any law in this country. The only exception is in Section 315, subsection 5. That's the only exception. And what is it about? It's about 4 laws that were stated in the Constitution, that those 4 laws are above the Constitution, that the Constitution has no impact on those 4 laws. You can find that in Section 315, subsection 5 of the Constitution. But apart from that, every other thing you are doing, you are controlled by Section 1, Section 2, Section 4, subsection 2, Section 4, subsection 5, and Section 315, subsection 1. So, right from the beginning, Psalm 11, verse 3 applied to that national conference. The foundation was weak. So, requesting, also recommending for another national conference like we had it in 2014 is actually not going to work. What is the problem, or what is the recommendation rather? I want us to cast our mind back. In 1910, the apartheid constitution came into place. And it stayed for 80 good years. If you add 80 to 1910, you're going to have 1990. In 1990, the government of Frederick de Klerk, what did they do? They said, look, this thing is not working. Let us have a body, a transitional body with constituent powers. That's why I started by defining what a constituent powers is. A body called CODESA with constituent powers in order to do a constitutional reconfiguration. That is on one part. The second part, let me make this point here, that constitution making is a 2-stage process. I repeat, a 2-stage process. If you go to the current Nigerian constitution, so those who have not thoroughly read it, they say that there is no referendum in that constitution. That is not true. There is a referendum in the constitution. It is in section 8. Referendum is in section 8 of the constitution. But it has to do with additional state creation. The referendum in section 8 has to do with only additional state creation. Of course, there are other conditions attached that makes it almost impossible to achieve. Now, why did I bring this point up? What the South African people did to set up a transitioning body with constituent power, that is what we need to do. And that constituent power will include the power to conduct referendum outside of what we have in the Constitution. Because what you have in the Constitution is only for state creation. You see why I keep harping on that word, constituent power. So we need a transitioning body with constituent power that will do 2 things that are associated with constitution making. Remember I said that there are two stages in the making of a constitution. The first stage is to ask because a constitution is made by the constituent. That's why it's called constitution, because it takes the constituents to constitute the constitution. So who are the constituents? The indigenous peoples. When you say people, you add an S to it, plural. The indigenous peoples, they are the ones that will now constitute the constitution. So you now the transitioning body will have as its first order of business go to those constituents and conduct referendums to ask them if that is within them. For instance, Reverend Dr. Akimbode is from the Southwest. They are a constituent. I am from the Southeast. We are a constituent. We have in the Middle Belt. You also have the South and all that. This transitioning body, we go to each of these constituents and conduct referendum among them, not with them and another constituent. For instance, not with the Southeast, with Southwest. No, you go to Southwest, as you have them now in their 6-state formation and all that, including Kwara State and some part of Kogi. You ask them, do you want to continue with the union called so, in this case, Nigeria? Then you go to the Southeast and do the same thing. You then act from the result of this referendum. You now see those who want to federate based on the results. There could also be those who do not want to federate. You have to respect. That is why sovereignty is, as a result, is an inalienable right. It is something that is inalienable to you. You don't share. You can only voluntarily, give it up, but it is inalienable to you. So you ask those people, and if they say no, we don't want to federate or refederate or confederate, you leave them alone. Then you go to the next phase, which is those who have agreed to form the union, those who have agreed to aggregate. They can now come together and begin to hash out the rules and regulations that will govern their aggregation or their union or their confederation or their refederation. They will begin to work it out, which is now the main constitution. That is why, like I fully agree, Reverend Dr. Akimbode said, the American Constitution, how it starts. That Dr. Akimbode, that's a standard language in every constitution. It says, we the people, having solemnly agreed. That solemnly agreed is that first stage of conducting regional referendums. You see what I mean? That is why the constitution reads, every standard constitution, start with that preamble. He said, we the people, that we have examined ourselves, we have asked ourselves questions, we have interrogated within ourselves, we the Yorubas, we have asked ourselves, and in truth, and in spirit, and in truth, we have agreed to be in a union with the Igbos. The Igbos on their own say that truly, we re-examined ourselves. We asked ourselves tough questions. And after deliberation, we, the Igbos, we have agreed to live together with the Yorubas. And from that, emanating from that, having we, the Igbos, and we, the Yorubas, having agreed to live together as a union, as a country, we further agreed to make the following laws to govern ourselves. And these laws are Section 1, Section this, Section that. And inside these laws, you now have the structure. You now have the governance system. You now have the election and election cycle. Just like the fraudulent constitution, established the Independent National Electoral Commission in Section 153, subsection 1F, and gave them the powers in Schedule 3, Part 1, Section 15. You see, so these are the things the transitioning body will do. So that was what happened in South Africa. After 80 years, they said, look, we just can't continue. This is not sustainable. Let's do something different. They formed a CODESA, which is a transitioning body. And I keep repeating this word, constituent powers. A transitioning body with constituent powers that drew up the Constitution. And in our case, because of how pluralistic, highly pluralistic we are, we have to go to the extra mile of confirming that we, the Igbos, we, the Yorubas, we, the Ijaws, we, the Jukuns, we, the Thieves, we, the Idomas, that we actually agree to be in union with the rest. So, in summary, I believe, my own belief, and that is, I believe that's what Ninas is also saying, that we have to have a transitioning body with constituent powers that will do two things: conduct regional referendum, and then from the result of the regional referendum, begin to work out constitutional reconfiguration of those who agreed to refederate, confederate, or non-federate. I'll hang it here for now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mazi Rania. There is a question that I would like you to take from one of our viewers. It says, I don't think the people need any, no. It says, it is referendum that we want. How is that referendum going to be conducted? Before you take this question, I wanted to ask Dr. Akimbode, are there settled issues when we're talking about Nigeria? Is there anything that we could say that it is a settled issues regarding Nigeria?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. In fact, that was going to be my response to Dr. Clifford. See, Dr. Clifford, the last argument projected as if, as at now, we don't have a country, by saying that we have to go back to each region to seek people's opinion if they want to continue with Nigeria or if they want to continue to federate. So, and that is, I don't agree with that. And I will answer your question, sir, moderator, that is one of the settled issue, probably the only settled issue, that we still have a country, Nigeria. So I understand that the current constitution is not working. We all agree on that. We need restructuring. But one of the things, probably the only thing that have been settled in Nigeria is that we have a country, Nigeria. The union has been formed already. We cannot go back to Southwest and be asking people, do you want to continue with Nigeria? We cannot go back to, I don't believe we can go to the South now and be asking people, do you want to continue with Nigeria? Other than that, we should just go to these people, or we should just try to influence. That's why I said, I'm not taking something out of my argument tonight. I'm not taking revolution out of my argument. I may not know how this revolution will come in, but it may take a revolution for us to be able to get to where we want to get to. And that is, Dr. Clifford, I understood your argument in two parts. Number one part is to seek people's opinion if we want to continue with this current federation. The second part is to now bring to constitute another conference. You call it, I'm trying to remember the exact word that you use. You call it constituent something conference that will not come together, that will not write the new
Sovereign.
constitution. Yeah, I agree with the second part of the argument. I do not agree with the first part. We cannot, at this time, be going to region by region to be asking that, do you still want to continue with Nigeria? I think it is too late. I think the union has been formed already. I understand that the union was not formed on a very good foundation. As I said, the foundation on which the union was formed is faulty, very faulty. But I think there is a way out of it, other than going back to the very, very primitive stage and seeking people's opinion. On the contrary, sir, the people that brought us together as Nigeria never seek our opinion. Maybe that's a very good argument. They didn't even seek our opinion if we want to come together as a country. They just brought us together, taught us how to speak British English, and they call us Nigeria. Maybe that's where our problem came from. But at this time, I believe that we can manage our problems. And as I said, Nigeria, we have gone far. We have really gone far. A lot of things have happened. We have gone far. I don't think we can now go to that level anymore. And I will say that if there is one thing that I believe is settled in Nigeria, is because it's our union. Our union is settled, though it's not perfect, but it's settled.
While I will come back,
please let me chip in here, because I want to make sure our viewers also get the other side of the view. I don't know, as long as my calculation tells me the Union of Nigeria was formed in 1914. Am I correct?
Yes, amalgamation.
Yeah. Yes, that was the 1914. I'm not too sure. I am not too sure. Maybe somebody need to correct me. I'm not too sure if our union was formed before the Russian Federation union was formed, the USSR. I am not very sure about that. But I can almost say that the Russian Federation was formed before Nigeria. I can almost also, I can almost confidently say that Czechoslovakia was formed before Nigerian Union. I can also say that Yugoslavia was formed before Nigerian Union. So I don't see anything sacrosanct about Nigerian Union. But I would also like to stay on the side, not really on the side, pick a point from what Reverend Dr. Akimbode said. Please, my dear Reverend, Nigeria was not formed on a faulty foundation in terms of the independence. At independence, it was very solid in the sense that we agreed to have regional autonomy. There were conferences between 1956 and 1959 in a place called Lambeth in the United Kingdom. It's called the Lambeth Conference. No, not Lambeth, sorry.
Lancaster.
Lancaster, please, yeah. Pardon my mistake. Lancaster. They had several negotiations and they came out with something very solid. And that was why the Western region, which is where you come from, Reverend Dr. Akimbode, was very, very fast in their development, because they were developing at their own pace. They had their regional autonomy. Do you know that the Western region had television before France?
Yes. Yes.
So they were moving. They were moving at the why? Because they had Nigeria had a solid foundation at pre-independence because of regional autonomy. So when you combine these two things, I try to disagree with you on your point about something being settled. Yugoslavia was before us. At a point, they were saying that they were settled. Where are they today? What about the USSR? What about Czechoslovakia? I can go on and on. I mean, Ethiopia was existing before Nigeria. In fact, Ethiopia was even mentioned in the Bible. But today we have Eritrea. So the point I'm making is this, is that what I said, probably I must apologize. Maybe I didn't make myself very clear. The regional referendum is going to have multiple options. Refederation is one of them, which is what we are talking about, Dr. Kimberly. Then there is also the option of confederation, which was actually what we had before it was toppled in 1966 coup and finally destroyed on May 27, 1967 by decree number 14. So we can have a refederation, a confederation, or a no federation. We don't have to have military might to develop ourselves. Let the North take all the military institutions. They can have it, not a problem. All we want is our ability to have a people-made and people-activated. Nigeria is the only country where a constitution was not activated by the people. Two, we want to have a country where we can own and develop our own resources. You are the four of us are in North American continent, with the exception of Stephen. The three of us here are in the United States. Texas, or the United States government, and the government of Texas, where I reside, they don't give a damn about the oil in any location. All they want is a regulation to make sure you are harnessing that oil in a very safe manner, and that you are not exploiting people by controlling, regulating the pricing, the operations, and everything. Why would a government own the resources in somebody's land and decide who should exploit it?
Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
In the state of Texas, where I am, they have no business. Government has no business in generating electricity. I'm less than 2 miles from Sister Augusta, where we live. We live less than 2 miles apart.
Yeah.
Government has no business generating electricity. They have no business drilling oil. They can only regulate. That is what we are talking about. We don't mind the military. Let them have the military institution. So the point I'm making here is to against what Dr. Kimbo did. We don't have anything that is settled. Anything can happen anytime, because other countries had more formidable union and even older. But today they have gone their separate ways. Two, what the regional referendum will ask is for people to decide if they want to. There's a chance that when that is conducted, the Yorubas and the Igbos can decide to come together. It's even possible that when that thing is done, we can still come back and become the same Nigeria. But it's for the people to decide. That's what I wanted to chip in. Sorry, Steve, I took some time.
That's okay.
I just wanted to say something before.
Dr. Leke, 1 second, please.
Okay.
Maziranya, there was a question that I wanted you to touch on briefly before we go back to Dr. Leke, and it is on the referendum. It says, it is referendum that we want, from Ife Chinwadi. How is that referendum going to be conducted? While I know that you've touched on it, could you expatiate a little bit within a minute on this before Dr. Leke responds?
Okay, this is how it's going to be conducted. First of all, we will have a transitioning body. A transitioning body that will have representatives on equal basis, representatives of the indigenous peoples on equal basis. Now, they are going to work together with a United Nations, because it's got to be a United Nations supervised referendum, so that make sure there is no hanky-panky. And then they will go ahead and conduct this referendum on region by region basis. How is that going to be done? Of course, we will have a situation where we have the regions are well known. I mean, nobody will be asking where is the Western region or the Southeast region or the South. They will go and conduct this referendum region by region. First of all, they will have committees that will make sure that people who are of age are registered to vote in this referendum. I'm not talking about INEC, please. This is not an INEC matter.
No.
This transitioning body should have things in place. They should have facilities, they will have infrastructure in place to house this referendum process. Just like they are, running around with their preparation for election now, the same thing will happen. They have people who will be ready. People are going to be enumerated, and because it's going to be handled at regional level, it will be more seamless than what we are doing, what we are having now. At regional level, they do all the processing and then conduct the referendum. How it's going to be done. First of all, the body will be there at the federal level, that will be at national level, that's the transitioning body, that's going to work with the United Nations as the United Nations will be supervising it. And it's going to be carried out on region by region basis. They are going to be equipped with infrastructure to be able to capture those who will be eligible to vote in that referendum. It has nothing to do with INEC, because I know the next argument, why can't we use PVC? No, it is not. Is not a election voting process.
Yeah.
It's purely for referendum.
Yeah.
I must, before then, sorry, Dr. Leke, I will come to you shortly, but I wanted to add to what Clifford just said, that this referendum being the foundation to give birth to new nation or to strengthen what we have already, will also include Nigerians in diaspora. People from the select regions will equally vote on this referendum in different countries where they are captured. That's exactly what I witnessed when South Sudan voted for referendum. They voted all over the world. Dr. Leke.
Well, as much as I would like Nigerians in diaspora to participate in that referendum, I think that will leave much to desire, because if we want to make provision for Nigerians in the United States, make provision for Nigerians in UK, we also have to make provision for Nigerians in Niger Republic, and Nigerians in Cameroon, and Nigerians in other areas. And so I don't know. That is one of my issues with diaspora voting. So if you want me to vote in the United States to participate in Nigeria, I can, because of technology allows that. So, but we also have to make the same thing available for Nigerians in Niger Republic, in those areas that we may have issue. But that's just by the way. I of course, Nigerians in diaspora will have to participate, because it's like Nigerians in diaspora, maybe by the virtue of our exposure, we have been able to see how things are done in other countries, and we can contribute with our experience or experiences. So going back to Dr. Clifford, I have a very fundamental question, Doctor. You explained the process of this referendum, but you haven't even told us how this referendum will come to be. We will call this referendum, because this is my argument. This is the premise of my argument at this session. With Nigeria, we are still a country under 1999 Constitution, though the Constitution is 101% fraud. So whatever we want to do, we are still technically subjected to or subject to that Constitution. And I believe that, as it is, as we had in 2014, the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has made a very fundamental decision. He has made a very fundamental decision. And I believe that, as it is, as we had in 2014, the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has made a very fundamental decision. And I believe that, as it is, as we had in 2014, the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has made a very fundamental decision. can still call a national conference, though the constitution, as you have explained in some sections, uh, does not allow the president to call the kind of referendum you are talking about. That will have been a revolution. The president can still call. I know Dr. Clifford is very eager to respond to me. I know the president can still call the national conference that will begin to channel the path that we want to go to get to our final destination. I understand we are no longer in 2014 anymore. See, in 2014, the discussion, the level of security and the level of things in Nigeria was not as this bad that we have now. The discussion then was not, the type of discussion we are having now. The discussion then was how to, something like you just said, how to to bring about the regional uh, uh, government. See, one thing I would like to say, we all agree that we need a new constitution to make Nigeria work. I think how we want to get to that destination is what we disagree on. How we want to get to that destination, Dr. Clifford is of the opinion that we have to call national referendum based on a region. And I said, though it will be very difficult, I wish we can do that, but I just want to be pragmatic here. I don't want to be an idealist. I just want to be be pragmatic. I think how we can get there, it is not something we will get there in another 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We have to get there systematically. We have to, as you said, not INEC. My desire that the next president of Nigeria that I want to see should be someone who has the courage to call another national conference and say that, okay, let us pass some things. Let us decentralize some power or devolution of power. Let each Lagos state take your VAT. Ondo state, take your VAT. Abia, take your VAT. Enugu Imo, take your VAT. Let all the income, all the IGL income generated in the state be 100% for that state. The state will just pay some to the federal level. Then federal level, no federal university anymore, no federal road, no everything gone to the state. The federal will just control citizenship, security, and other stuff. That is where I want us to get to. But I believe that while current constitution may not take us there, the president of Nigeria is maybe the next powerful president outside the president of the United States. The president of Nigeria can still call the national conference. All we just need, we don't need a messiah in Nigeria. We just need the system to work. All we just need is someone who will come and and will empower our institution. We all think in America, President Trump appointed an FBI director. The same FBI director investigated him. It can never happen in Nigeria. Just one phone call, the president will shut down the investigation. So I think what we need in Nigeria, the reason why Nigeria is not working for us at this time is because our institutions are so weak. Okay. Individuals in Nigeria are stronger than institutions.
Dr.
Today, are you talking to me, sir?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to remind you of what happened to Benue State and recently, Ondo State, your home state.
Yes.
After the bombing of the church, where over 50 people died.
Yes.
The state governor muted state security, state police.
Yes.
Would you recognize or remember the reaction of the federal government to Akere Dolu and the governor of Benue State, who tried to arm his people? Till this day, allocations to his state has been impounded by the federal government.
Yeah, you can also imagine how it took my governor Aketi to even inform Amotekun, and you can imagine what he went through with the federal government to put the Amotekun in place. Until now, they are not even allowing the Amotekun to carry weapons because they are, federal government is in a way, sir. That's the truth, but in a way. the federal government is claiming that the current constitution that we have. We are all coming back to the constitution because the current constitution does not provide opportunity for state police. And I can tell you,
same constitution allows the Fulani to be AK-47 and AK-49.
Well, no, the constitution did not allow them. It's individual that allows them anyway. That's exactly my point here. The institutions in Nigeria are so weak. Individuals in Nigeria are powerful than institutions. What happened? If a Yoruba man or a man from Southwest or from Southeast is caught with AK-47, the man will be prosecuted severely. But let a Fulani man will be is caught with AK-47, they will let him go. This is kind of a thing we have in Nigeria now. Nigeria is not working. No one is saying that Nigeria is working. We want Nigeria to work. How we want to get there. So I believe that the referendum that Dr. Clifford is saying, Dr. Clifford has just told us the process of how this referendum will be, but he has not told us who will call this referendum. Who is under this current constitution that we have. Don't let me use the current constitution anymore. Under this climate that we have, under this current situation that we have, can you tell me who is going to call the referendum in the Southwest, in the Southeast, in South, or in maybe even if you want to go by region now, who is going to call the referendum for the whole South? Are we going to call the referendum for the whole? So it's like, this is the idea. This is the thing that needs to be done. But how are we going to do that? I don't know. But I have a short way. We can just like people, Nigerian, pressurize the President Jonathan. Then we can pressurize our next president, if we will be able to do that, to call it another national conference. Then from that national conference, we can begin to move step by step. To build a nation is not overnight. So we can begin to move step by step, little by little, and move to where we want to be. Look at, we are, as I said, Dr. Clifford, three of us here are from the United States. Look at how powerful our constitution is in this country. A lot of amendments. You see that till today, we have Congress that are making changes to that constitution, because no constitution of a country will be perfect from the start. So we'll always, the constitution, as much as the constitution is powerful, it's also a book in progress. It's an epistle in progress. Yes, sir.
Dr. Leke, for the
Constitution can I come in progress?
Yeah, Maziranya, 1 second. While the Constitution of the United States is going through amendments, I mean, it has gone probably more than 29 amendments from the inception till now. The foundation still matters. The beginning of that Constitution. Maziranya.
Yes, please. There's I need to remind Reverend Dr. Akimbode that he is making a very big assumption. And that is an assumption I want everybody watching tonight, or whatever time it is, everybody watching this program, please, there is a big assumption that I want us to take out of our mind. That is an assumption that we have, or we the people made a constitution. That is an assumption. That what you are calling a constitution is a fraud. First of all, it lied. I mean, come on. We are all, somehow religious. Most of us here are Christians. We know what a lie is and the place of a lie, according to the Bible. The Constitution itself lied. It says that we, the people, having solemnly, we never ever agreed at any point in time to live together after the agreement was toppled in 1966. Remember, between 1956 and 1959, leading up to independence of 1960, we agreed to live together. And we made the rules for us to live together. But in 1966, that agreement was toppled. From that day till today, We have never gone back to agree again. So we do not have a constitution. I have to repeat it again. We never made this constitution. So that's a big assumption we need to take up our mind.
Can I ask the question before you move forward? I want you to say it along with your conversation.
I didn't interrupt you. Hold on. When you talk about how can we do the referendum, the constitution hold, I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat this. The word constituent powers. The transitioning body, just like he had it in South Africa, will be a body that will have constituent powers. Let me explain it again. Ladies and gentlemen watching this program, a constituent power or a body with a constituent power means power above any existing rule and regulation or constitution or whatever you call it. That is what constituent powers mean. There will be a transitioning body that we have constituent powers. What we need now is a transitioning body, not a national conference. Whether you vote in or now or not, the problem will still be the same. And now you also made a point that we have weak institutions. I don't know if I want anybody to prove me wrong. Is there any institution in any country that does not have its root to the constitution of that country? So what are we talking about? We have weak institutions. The institutions are established by the constitution, except where you have a transitioning body with constituent powers. Be it INEC, be it police. As a matter of fact, Section 315, subsection 5, listed 4 government bodies that are above the constitution. One of them is 4 laws. I'm sorry, not 4 bodies. 4 laws that are above the constitution. Meanwhile, in section 1, subsection 3, it says that every law must conform with the constitution, and if it does not, then it is invalid. Yet, in section 315, subsection 5, it listed 4 laws that are above the constitution. One of them is National Security Act, which that is where you have the DSS, the NIA, and the DIA. The DSS is not supposedly, if you follow it technically, the constitution does not, regulate them according to section 315, subsection 5 of that constitution. So what am I trying to say in all this? Institutions are created by the constitution. Transitioning body with constituent powers are not subject to or under the constitution, existing constitution. You are asking how? How we are going to do it is that the people, the indigenous people, will come together and select their representatives. And these their representatives will form the transitioning body. I don't know how else to explain it. I'll read my case for now.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Clifford. Dr. Akibode, before you go on, let me just put this across to all of us. I know, and I know that you know, that the Fulanis have one conquest, just one, and that is taking over the entire land. Taking your land, taking my land, taking Dr. Clifford's and Brad Stevens' land. That is their number one agenda. And they have not moved away from that agenda. They have not. And that is why in all of the federal parastatals, they placed their own people as the head. They placed their own people. Any parastatal you want to call now, chief of this, chief of that, it is a Fulani man that is heading it. If you look at the controller of Apapa Wharf is a Fulani man. And where is Apapa Wharf located? In Lagos. All the remunerations or whatever that is gotten or remittance that is gotten from that wharf, where does it go? It goes into the federal coffers. At the end of the day, they just give you peanuts and you feel that, oh, you are making it. You also talked about the internet generated revenue that every state should go and get. In all honesty, if we decided to go that route, trust me, you will see how all the southern area would blossom so fast that even the Fulanis will not be able to catch up with us. Now, I remember one of these sayings by the former president of the United States, Frederick Roosevelt. He said that the only thing to fear is fear itself. We cannot continue to rigmarole. We cannot continue to try to sugarcoat or try to play or try to downplay the extent at which these people are going. We cannot continue to do that. You are saying, oh, they should probably, by the time we get a good president, the president that will listen to us, he would also get people to look into the Constitution. We are telling you that originally that paper is a fraud, which you have actually, you believe in that as well, that paperwork is a fraud. So why would you want us to converge people to come again and talk about a worthless paper or a worthless constitution, while the indigenous peoples can go their separate ways and decide, do we need to get back to this union or not? Forget all the things that is going online about election or no election. Because look, it is still the Fulani's plan. The entire election has been rigged already. The person that knows that he would win is relaxing in Dubai. He doesn't even live in Nigeria. The person that is saying that Emiloko does not even know that he's being used. So we need to understand that even the Peter the obedient and the usefulness or whatever they call themselves, does not even know that he's also being used. They are all stooges because they know that, hey, if Peter B comes in, probably it will quell the level of agitation that is going on. It will make it would give lifeline to the Igbos and all what's not. No, that's not the true agenda of the Fulani still remains, regardless of who comes in. And that is why pulling down that constitution is the primary objective of NINAS. And Dr. Clifford has explained in details how this has to happen. So we don't need to start shooting around the corners. We need to face this thing squarely, because guess what? Time is actually running out for that country called Nigeria. Time has even run out, in all honesty. They're just trying to patch it. So you don't get to patch something that is not workable. It's like the engine of a car. You just want to continue to plan it and think it would move? No, what you do is take out that engine of the car, get a brand new engine and put it before the car would move. So this is what we have been saying. There is a protocol, there is a system, there is a blueprint from NINAS about how to go about this. Why people are not tuning in still baffles me. You all don't know there is an agenda, and the Britain is still part of this agenda, whether we like it or not. So we don't have to continue to say, hey, let us patch it. When a new government comes, we will patch it. When this one comes, we will patch it. We can't continue like that. We can't be doing patch. We cannot. We have to take down that constitution. And a method and pathway to do that is already with NINAS. All we need to do is for all the indigenous peoples to tune in into how to get this thing done. So I'm sorry, I just needed to get this out so that you understand that we are not here for like, hey, the truth about it is that if at the end of the multi-regional, it's going to be multi-regional referendum. If at the end of the multi-regional referendum, people decide to say, okay, you know what, we want to remain in the union. Of course, they have every right to do so. And if they say they want to move out of the union, they also have every right to do so. So let's get there where we now have our own power, because power belongs to the people. Even in all of their wayo and all of their crookedness. I think it's in section 2. They also said that the indigenous people have sovereignty, that the sovereignty belongs to the people.
It's section 14.
Yeah. It is that the sovereignty belongs to the people. So if the sovereignty belongs to the people, why have we not taken it? Why not, letting them know that it's high time we took this by force. It's high time we did that. So I want you to understand the essence of why this is pertinent, why this is important, why we have to do it this way. It's not a matter of getting a new president. A new president would forever be a stooge to the British, will forever be a stooge to the caliphate, forever be a stooge. One more thing, if you go along the lines of those contesting for president, there is either a Fulani presidential aspirant or a Fulani VP. Come on now. Where they are, they're not even up to, they're not even more than 1/10 of the entire population.
Yes. Actually, there is no Fulani VP anyway. Well, there's Fulani VP for the other guy for Emilio Kong.
Fulani VP for Showore, Fulani VP everywhere, Fulani president for Atiku. Fulani VP for Tinubu.
No, Tinubu is not Fulani VP. That guy is not Fulani, but they are all made of the same feather anyway. It doesn't matter.
So how do we have one region be in all? That is to tell you that they have connived, they have taken the entire system in their pockets. And the only way we can get that out of their hands is to do this thing and do it once and for all, not getting involved in any election.
Thank you, Sister Augusta. I have to memorize your name, not to call you another name. See, I think I say it again. We all agree that we want to arrive at a particular destination. So how we want to get to that destination is our point of disagreement tonight. I was hoping to ask a question. I have a question for Dr. Clifford when he was saying that in 1966, Nigeria, our union, our agreement to come together was coupled in 1966. I don't know if I heard you well.
Yes.
So, yes. Are you, I'm trying to, I wasn't born in 1966, but I'm trying to remember from history what happened in 1966 that actually stopped the agreement that you are talking about. Because I know that Nigeria, and all of us here know that Nigeria, despite the fact that we came together in 1914, not out of our own volition. It was British idea for us to come together in 1914. I think we have successfully do something together that override the 1914 amalgamation. This is the same Nigeria that we have Awolowo, we have Nnamdi Azikiwe, we have Tafawa Balewa. They all fought for independence of this Nigeria. And I even remember that from history, I wasn't born in 1960 anyway, but I read from history that one of the things that delayed the independence of Nigeria was the North. The North, where they were saying that they would not agree because they were afraid that they would be marginalized anyway. So what I'm trying to say, I can't remember anything that happened in 1966 that actually made this our coming together to be coupled. And Nigeria was not born in 1999. And even if we want to look at 1999 today, Sister Augusta, you remember that we have had more southern presidents in Nigeria than northern presidents since 1999. And so if we think that things are not really going in Nigeria the way things should be going, we cannot entirely blame the Fulani. I think everybody is involved in the. We had a president from
Dr. Akimbode, don't be angry, please. You said that they have had more southern presidents since 1999. Okay, that's true. But what we are saying is that it does not even matter where the region the person comes from. There is a paperwork that they are using, and that is the 1999 Constitution. Exactly. So whether we even have an Igbo president right now, it's still going to be the same thing.
I said if we have the most capable leader in the world,
Pope of France, whatever, Pope of to come and be the president, it will still do exactly.
I will tell you, it is only Jesus Christ that can be the president of Nigeria under this current constitution.
Jesus Christ will not. No, Jesus Christ will not.
He will work fine because he will use some spiritual power. So, because he will use some spiritual power. Other than that, no man born of any woman can rule Nigeria under this current constitution and lead Nigeria or take Nigeria to the country that we do that. That is not disputable. We all agree on that from our very first statement that the foundation of 1999 constitution is entirely faulty. I call it 101% fraud. So I agree. I want this constitution of 1999 to be shed and burnt to ashes, and I want us to come together and as a people to write another constitution. But I just believe that we can mutually come together, though it is not going to be easy. Just like I go again. I know Dr. Clifford doesn't want to hear this. I go again. Just like we have a president in 2014 who called a national conference. We can actually, do you know that we can actually call the constituent national conference now and bring and make Nigeria to work again. So I agree. It is going to be a very long process. Why I believe that what Dr. Clifford is saying will be much more longer than what I am saying, because now we are in a funny Nigeria where we now suspect one another. I suspect my southeast brother. I suspect my south brother. I suspect my northwest brother. We now Nigeria of today is no longer Nigeria of many years ago. So it will be, when we are saying we want to call something now, it will be like okay, let me say this. My point, maybe because I'm a reverend, my fear is that I don't want anything that will lead to war or riot that people will begin to die. That is one of the fundamental considerations that I am focusing on in my argument.
People are already dying, and you rightly said it, from your own village or war. 50 people were killed. They went to church to pray and they were killed.
Yeah.
So people are already dying.
50 is official figure. 50 is official figure.
50 is official figure, so we don't even know the real number.
I can tell you, people that died are up to 84. They are not 50.
You see?
In fact, just yesterday, someone still died in the hospital from that incident. Just yesterday.
And they are still dying. And trust me, the hospital will be one quack hospital with no bandage, nothing to even treat the patients with.
Yeah.
Now we're telling you that people are already we are at war. It may sound like a silent war. Maybe one part has the AK-47 and the Kalashnikov, while the other part is busy praying. So we are at war. You may not see. We're already at war. They're killing people. They're adopting Reverend Fathers in Kaduna.
They adopted two today.
Yeah, they keep adopting them. So if you think that this is not war, then what is war then? What is war? We're already at war. So if you're afraid that they would not kill, these people, they don't think. It's all about conquering. That is what it's all about. It's all about a blueprint that they are working with. And they are achieving it without even doing too much gra. And we're saying it's high time we stopped them from doing it. You see pastors who say, let us come out and pray. I remember when in Catholic Church, we've been praying for Nigeria in distress for more than 30-something. Did I say 30-something years? We've been praying for Nigeria in distress for more than 30-something years. And Nigeria keeps moving from one despicable situation to the next.
Yeah.
And we're still sitting down hoping that Jesus will come from nowhere and come. Jesus doesn't have, even God has shown us long time ago. Because guess what? All the mushroom churches that are beginning to use the name of God in vain, God has even shown them totally. And we're saying it's high time we did the right thing.
My point is that there is no mechanism to call a referendum. Who's going to that? I know Dr. Clifford said that the indigenous leaders in each region can call the referendum. I wish we can identify these indigenous leaders and Dr. Clifford's idea is very good. I'm just not seeing a path from there. As much as I believe that 1999 Constitution is not working, I believe that it can be changed from within.
Okay, Dr. Leke, changing Nigeria from within, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I believe that we can change Nigeria if we all, if Nigerians, if we can, I don't know, I know, I know Sister Angela, Sister Augusta will come right for me. If we can, I mean, see, where we are in Nigeria with leadership, one of the things we are lacking in Nigeria is leadership. There is no leadership. There is no leadership in Nigeria. Leadership can change a lot of things. I am not saying that we should look for a Messiah. And even if we have a Messiah today, Messiah may not be successful under this constitution. One thing first that the Messiah may need to do is to find a way around this constitution. And like policy, we can use policy to begin to change things if we have right leader in Nigeria. Leadership is one of the fundamental problems. If Nigeria have been enjoying right leadership, for example, Nigeria will not be where we are. I'm not saying things will be working the way it's supposed to be working, but for example, we don't have electricity in Nigeria. There's no power. That is a problem of leadership, as much as that is a problem of constitution. I know Dr. Clifford cannot generate electricity in his compound. He will have to submit it to national grid, and the national grid is so greedy, absorbing everything and is not giving out anything. I understand that, but the same thing we have in South Africa, but South Africa have been able to generate 55,000 megawatts over the years. But Nigeria, we are still roaming around 1,002 megawatts. It's a shame. That, yeah, as much as that is a problem of constitution, that is also a problem of leadership.
Yeah,
we are dishing out money every time to rebuild the same road, to rebuild the same infrastructure. That's the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have been in budget since I was born almost 40 years ago. Every Nigerian budget that I've seen, you always see Lagos and Ibadan Expressway. I school in Ibadan, I live in Lagos. I was flying on that road every time. So that is, as much as maybe that is a problem of the constitution, that is also a problem of leadership.
Yeah.
So with right leadership, we can begin to move to our final destination. I agree with Dr. Clifford. We all agree that we need a new constitution, a new Nigeria. How we want to get there is how we disagree on. So that's my point for now. I think we have 10 minutes more because I have other engagement that I have to attend to.
Yes, we are conscious of time. Mazi Rania.
Thank you very much. Well, the fact is that we need to understand this basic thing. Constitution. Yes, we need a new constitution. But like I said earlier, constitution is made by two stages. And that is why every constitution, standard constitution, the preamble is always the same. Be it United States, wherever. The preamble is said, we the people, having solemnly resolved to live together. You can't jump it over. You can't skate around it. You can't go around it. So if you are an advocate of new constitution, then you have to do it properly. You have to follow the proper step or process of making a constitution, which, again, I repeat a million times, is a two-stage process. There are two stages in making a new constitution. You cannot be saying you don't want, that we need a new constitution, and you don't want to follow the stages or the process of making a constitution. Before the first stage of a constitution is to, first of all, let those who are making that constitution agree. You talk about me talking about indigenous people. I said the indigenous peoples of those regions will come together and select among themselves those who will represent them in the transitioning body. It's not a one-man thing. You have the either Ela, Omo, Odua, or whatever. There is an organization. Yeah, there is an organization that holds the Southwest together.
Afenifere.
They will come together and have a solemn assembly or a town hall meeting or meetings. It may not even be one. From there, they select people who will now represent them in the transitioning body. The same thing goes for the other region. Then they will come together from various regions as equals. As equals. Nobody is master, nobody is slave. And then they will now go about the first order of business of asking themselves, within themselves, not among, within themselves, do we want to continue with this? I don't, and I will never ever believe that there's anything that is settled in a country. Something could be settled in a nation, of course. The unity of a nation could be settled. I agree with that. But the unity of a country must not be settled. If you watch my word, you watch me, I use country and nation. They are not the same in the strict sense of it.
We have no Yoruba nation within Nigeria country.
Yes, the Yoruba is a nation. The unity of Yoruba cannot is settled. You can't divide them.
True. Okay.
But
now,
Nigeria as a country, their unity is subject to the vagaries of happenstance. If I want to use that word.
To say that Nigeria's unity is settled is a fraudulent statement.
It is not. Nigeria is a country. It is not a nation. Yes. Just like the United Kingdom or Britain.
I agree. Nigeria unity is not settled. Nigeria union. I said Nigeria union anyway. Union, I believe, literally, union is different from unity. We can be living together and not agree. So we can live in the same district, but we don't vote on the same line. So we are living in the same, we can be living in the same area. That's union, but we are united by maybe circumstances now. But it doesn't mean that we are in unity or in unity.
Yeah, so, Doctor, I agree with you. In your delineation, and you're trying to define unity and union. And I also agree with you. Nigeria had a union all the way to 1966. Back to the comment you made earlier.
Yeah.
But in 1966, that union was toppled. Most of the things that were agreed were toppled, were destroyed. The climax was on May 27, 1967. That was the climax. That was when the final nail was put in the coffin of that union agreement through Decree 14 of May 27, 1967. Like I said, there were discussions in Lancaster between 1956 and 1959 where they agreed on several things, among which is the type of government that Nigeria will have. 2, that Nigeria will operate a regional system and that those regions will be will be autonomous. Do you know that Section 81 of the 1963 Constitution and Section 79 of the 1963 Constitution put electricity generation and even oil and gas in the hands of the regions?
Yes.
Go and check it out.
That was changed in 1999.
1966.
Please.
The Constitution was toppled. And then in 1967, May 27, Decree 14 dissolved the region, which was the basic and fundamental agreement of the Union. I'm still on this issue of delineation, union, and unity. It was dissolved the basis of the union, which was the region, one of the bases of the union, which was the region, was dissolved under Decree 14 of May 27, 1967.
Yeah.
And so the point now is that we have to go back to that union agreement, which is the first stage of constitution making, which you agree that we need a new constitution.
We need a new constitution. You can take that away from me tonight. We need a new one.
We have to go to that stage. We have to go to that thing that they did in 1967, May 27, and go back and say, okay, gentlemen and ladies, this happened. Can we still go back to what was destroyed by Decree 14? Or, do we now do what happened with the statement that Stephen started with in this program, which was after the death of Solomon, to your tents, O Israel.
Holy Spirit.
So I think we are running out of time. Let me.
If you want to go to biblical theology, that never worked well anyway until when they came together again.
Yeah, indeed. But let's just take a minute here, each of us, to make final comments before we round it up, because we're getting choked with time, and we all have got something else to attend to. Dr. Leke, you made a very important statement when you said that leadership is part of the problem we're dealing with. Indeed. And it has not helped in any way as far as Nigeria is concerned. And the Bible says in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, we started with the Bible, we're ending with the Bible, that when the wicked is in government, the people suffer.
The people will suffer, unfortunately.
So with that, within
and the wicked will not suffer.
Yeah, within a minute, what would be your final comment? And we'll be looking forward to having you back again in our program.
Thank you, Dr. Clifford. And I'm trying to see your name, sir. Mr.
I'm Stephen.
Oh, Mr. Stephen. Oh, okay. And my UI sister, did you live in Queens or Awolowo, or which one did you live where you were doing?
I lived everywhere before I finally moved to Agbowo.
Oh, okay, Agbowo, okay. Just okay,
but I'm an idiot, Sha. I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah, you look like one. When you see them, you know them. All right, so, well,
my
thank
wife
you,
will
everybody.
enjoy this because she's a UI too.
Oh, hallelujah. I can see now. Amen. So I hope, Mr. Stephen, if you are not a UI, it's not too late. Go and take one course there and be a UI as well. So, okay, I will just thank you for having me on the program on a very short notice. And I nearly missed it because I thought it was 7 p.m. US time. I never knew it was 7 p.m. Nigeria time. Thank God that I just checked 15 minutes before. So I will want to close this way. Myself and Dr. Clifford, we agree on one thing, and everybody here, we agree on one thing, that we need a new constitution. If you wake me up at the middle of the night, I will say the same thing. We need a new constitution. I've been telling people that I know who are in political war that we need a new constitution. How we want to get there is what we actually, didn't agree on tonight. And I just want to close on what Mr. Stephen said. If we have good leadership in Nigeria, or a good leadership, we can begin to move in the direction that we want to move. Well, I am not saying that, not minding the fact that even a good leadership can be frustrated with the current constitution. I'm still mindful of that. But I think this conversation is not going to end today. We are going to continue to have the conversation. We want a new constitution, either way, either through what I proposed by a national conference being called by a courageous president, or through what Dr. Clifford proposed by we should all go to region and call our regional conferences. And either way, I believe we need a new constitution. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Mazirani.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Oleke Akimbode and Dr. Augusta and my brother Stephen for inviting me on this platform. On my own part, I am recommending that we have to have a transitioning body. The transitioning body, we have constituent powers. Constituent powers means powers above any existing constitution. The transitioning body will, as the first order of business, conduct or midwife the conduct of regional referendums for a stay or leave vote, because our terms of union was overthrown in 1966 and finally nailed on 27th of May 1967. So we need to go back to the basic and ask ourselves if we want to continue with that union. Thereafter, we can now begin to draw and ratify our constitution, and then politicking can go on. Therefore, my final word is that we should do everything within our powers, within our intellect, within our resources to put a halt to this 2023 electoral journey, so that we will do the right thing and then enjoy the dividends thereof. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sister Augusta, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, let me just round up. First of all, I just want to thank Dr. Akimbode for being here, and Dr. Clifford Iranya always. Yes, thank you both of you for coming. As both of you have rightly said, the Constitution is the number one problem, is the crux of the matter, is the bone of contention here. And if we realize that, it's going to be better for all of us. And as Ninas has always said, Ninas did a constitutional force majeure, I think December 16, 2020. If you have the opportunity, Dr. Kibode, you can go and read exactly what Ninas said and the pathway to getting to this level, because everything has been stipulated already. So all you need to do, go back, read, and understand where Ninas is coming from and why we have to do it the way we have to do it. Because if we don't, at the end of the day, we would all regret. As we have said earlier before, it does not matter who gets to drive the to be at the wheel of the car. The bottom line is that the engine of the car is dead. That's the bottom line. If we look at it from that perspective, we'll be able to understand why Nigeria, no matter whoever gets there, will not be able to do anything. And as he said, that leadership is bad. Leadership is bad because there's a paperwork that is telling leadership, please remain bad. That is it. In part of that constitution, there are 68 items on the exclusive list. If you're able to read through that exclusive list, you will know why we are suffering. And there's also a part, I think it's section 6, section 6C, where they are telling you that the past government or governors or whomever, or the state of affairs, whatever, cannot be prosecuted for whatever they did in the past. So that is why you see the government wasting resources, wasting funds. Why they are super wasteful. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is why I want you to just go back, take out your time, read that constitutional force majeure. The details are there. You'll be able to see why we have to do it the way we have to do it. If we do not do this, it's still going to be the same story of why Nigeria is not working. It's still going to be the same. Anyway, thank you for being here, and thank you, Dr. Clifford.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Leke and Dr. Iranya, I want to thank all of you for making our time to do this today. And we look forward to having more of this kind of get-together to deliberate on what really matters, which is the continued existence of our people in our ancestral lands. I thank you for your time, and I hope the rest of your weekend goes very well.
Amen. And you too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.